Welcome to Be Lifted Up, your guide to living an abundant life. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr., flying solo, sitting in for my co-host, DC Marshall, who's out today. But we got a great show, and I'm going to do my best to make her proud. Listen, we're talking about faith and finance, and today we're talking about what it takes to fund your business. Listen, most of you know me from my long career as an editor, an entrepreneur expert at Black Enterprise. I coach entrepreneurs, I mentor entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are my favorite people. I'm actually a geek about entrepreneurship. So I'm really excited about today's guest. And this issue of being able to find financing for your business it's a topic that is never out of style. It's never a topic that's not important because all entrepreneurs are always looking for good, smart sources of financing. So today we have a great guest, and I'm going to bring him on right now. Elijah McCoy of McCoy Brokerage Services joins us on Be Lifted Up, your guide to living an abundant life. Elijah, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you, Alfred, for having me. I appreciate it.
So listen, before we jump into the nuts and bolts of business financing, and just tell me about who you are, what led you to launch your company, why you do what you do, what is your why, what is your mission, what is your passion, what makes Elijah McCoy tick when it comes to business?
What makes me tick is I have a heart and a drive to help people. I love helping people achieve their dreams, reach their goals. That's just my gift that I received from God. I love helping people. So that's what makes me tick. I help them in the area of helping them with financing for their business. Whether if you're a first-time entrepreneur, a seasoned investor, or someone straight out of college. I love working with the new kids on the block. Take them to school, show them the ropes, show them how to get the money they need for their business venture.
Well, tell me, I believe you started this company in 2006, I believe?
That's correct.
Talk to me about what you were doing before that, what led to you starting this business, and what you've experienced over the last, 15 years now.
Sir, yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Going on 16 years. Talk to me about what led you down that path and to that particular calling on your life to start this business.
Sure. Actually, it's a different story. I was at the age of 12.
Wow.
This was placed in my spirit to get involved with commercial financing so that I could, learn about commercial financing so I can be a blessing and a help to others trying to obtain their goals and their needs. Earlier on, I used to do IT work. I did that for about a year and a half or so. And then in my spirit, I heard it's time to launch out in the deep and start. I gave you the vision that I heard in my spirit. God gave me the vision at the age of 12. It's time to get out there. And I've been out there ever since 2006, full time.
Talk to me about what it means to be a faith-driven, not just a faith-driven person. Clearly, you're a faith-driven person.
Yes,
but
sir.
what it means to be a faith-driven entrepreneur, a faith-driven business person, and how that guides you in terms of how you run your company and how you deal with your clients.
Absolutely. So, to me, my dad is a preacher, and I was raised by an old school Pentecostal preacher. He taught me early growing up, faith without works is dead. You got to have a vision, or the people will perish. You can't just have faith; you have to put works with it. So just entrepreneur in general, you have to work, but you also have to have faith behind the work. Like they go hand in hand. Have a vision, don't get discouraged if things don't go the way you think they should go, because nothing good happens overnight. Just got to stay at it, stay at the plow and keep at it. You eventually get to where you're trying to get.
We both know, again, I could tell from your story and your history, and I certainly know from my decades of experience of working with and writing about entrepreneurship, that there are crises of faith when you're trying to launch and build a business. That I would say I don't know how people make it through without God, because I don't know what I would do if I couldn't fall back on that and to lean on Jesus and lean on God when I don't have the answer. I don't know how I'm going to make payroll. I don't know how it's going to work.
Right.
But you got to talk to me about, particularly over these last few years, we've been through a global pandemic. We're actually still in one, but we had the economic shutdown due to the pandemic. We've seen everything from racial conflicts, injustice, businesses shutting down, people unemployed. Yet, some people started successful businesses during that period, and other businesses found a way to get through that and to come out better on the other side. And I'm proud to say that Black Enterprise is one of them. But talk to me about how important it is to you to be able to bring that element of faith to your clients and others that you may have impact with when things don't look so good, when things are rough, when things are not going well.
Okay, yes, I would gladly do that. So for instance, when I started my career, I literally walked off of my job. It was placed in my spirit. It's time. I walked off of my job at the time and said, I don't know how I'm going to pay my car note. I don't know how I'm going to eat. I don't know anything. I just know what my spirit is telling me to do. And that's a scary place to be in, Alfred, when you don't know what's going to happen the next day, how you're going to survive. So, I did it, and I'm still here. And if I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it. I feel like if I can do it, I think anybody can do it. You got to have faith and works behind it, especially during the pandemic. Those just starting their businesses during the pandemic. It's a scary time. It's a scary time. But as long as you have a drive, don't give up, be encouraged regardless of the outcome of certain things. Nothing good happens overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. Just remember all those things, and I think everybody will be fine.
Elijah, and I've said this on the show before, both during and since the pandemic, that while it was very rough, and I always tell people I would never, I wouldn't say, it was a good thing, because obviously it was very difficult for people all over the world. On the other hand, God's grace showed through in so many ways in my life. And one of the things that came to me was I came out of it understanding that my resources are not my source, because God took away all the resources. Me thinking, it's my job, it's my business, it's my speaking engagements, and all that obviously disappeared for a few months. And like you said, but I was still here, and I was still fed, and I was still clothed, and it really blessed me with this idea that yes, God provides us with resources and opportunities and capacity to create wealth, but those things aren't your source. Right. So for many of us, the pandemic took all of those distractions away so we could be reminded, at least for me, right. Where does my help really come from? And so that now that I'm certainly grateful that all that stuff has come back, but I'm way more focused now on that's not the source. These are nice things, these are good things, but focus on where it comes from. That's correct. Easy come, easy go. Oh yeah. And the only thing that's permanent is God's word, God's love. Like I said, everything else comes and goes. Right. As we kind of wrap up this segment and get ready for the next round, I really want to do a deeper dive into some of the things that you see entrepreneurs are facing, have faced over the course of business, not necessarily just related to the pandemic, but what entrepreneurs are doing and what you have learned in terms of how you can help them, and what entrepreneurs should be thinking about, even if you're not the source of financing they should be going after. It could be something else. I really want to pick your brain on behalf of the Be Lifted Up audience. So before I close out, what would you say is the top thing that an entrepreneur needs to be thinking about when it comes to seeking financing for their company? The top thing is to always have a plan. You need to have a business plan put together or be in the process of working on one. That's excellent. We're going to jump on that right after the break. This is Be Lifted Up, your guide to living an abundant life. We're here with Elijah McCoy of McCoy Brokerage Services, talking about funding your business, entrepreneurial success. Hold on. We'll be right back.